Greetings and welcome back to smartwatchtics.com. DT1 is back with a special DT Sports watch. And boy, does it hit the button as far as sports and outdoor activity goes. First of all, look at the nice packaging. Gold around a black separator here. We pull that out, you got the watch, you got a special compartment, and you can get the watch from Bizeware. Yep, DT1 is now working with Bizeware as a nice place that you can use PayPal, Pay Later, whatever you want to pick this puppy up for about $34 and maybe even cheaper with a discount coupon. So check the show notes for the buying link. And I'm pretty darn sure I'm going to have a coupon for you on this one, especially if you do it in a hurry. Here it is in a silver color. We've got the black to show you today. What's inside this one? Quick look at the basic specs. It's a 1.45-inch IP68 waterproof ruggedized smartwatch using the Wear Pro app. There's a little bit of memory, Android, iOS, so forth, Bluetooth 5.0. Plastic coating, IML, 454 by 454 IPS TFT display. You've got, there's the length of the wristband, lithium battery, 550 milliamp hour, so that should last for quite a while. 4 to 5 days continuous use. In a power saving mode, about a half a month. Not bad at all. Charging time's less than 4 hours. Let's hope so. You got it black, military green, or actually it's transparent, the picture I showed you, not silver, so you could actually see the inner workings of it. But they sent me the black one to show you today. You're looking at all the different languages supported across the board and the basic certification. We grab the module here. It's got its own little cover as well, and a little insert here too. And we take a look at the device. Now, first thing I want to talk about is the band. It's really, really elaborate. They went all out on this one. It is not removable. It's integrated. It's held together with special screws. You'd need a special tool to take that apart. You've got the two rubber containers here for the band, and the top one is pinned in. So good news is they don't go flying around. Difficult news is it's a challenge to get this through here and down into that first loop when it is so stiff. This is not an easy rubberized dress watch. This is definitely for rugged outdoor use. Got similar kind of pattern over here, lots of holes up in the front, so you can definitely get this on. We'll show it to you on in a little bit. Let's keep going. Inside here, this box, which can come completely out, we have a couple of things. We have the manual and the charging cable. Now, it's a standard 2-pin magnetically coupled charging connector. That 50-50, I'm supposed to get it right, but I wouldn't bet on me in Vegas. I hit it wrong more often than not. Barely holds the watch, but strong enough it can do that. So you got a good magnetic coupling. You see there is a cover on the back. We want to take that off of here. Make sure you always check the back of your watches when you get them in to reveal all of the different sensor array back there. We also have a cover on the front. It's kind of hard to see, but here it is. That's a film, not to be confused with a screensaver that sometimes comes with these watches. And the last thing is the little manual says smartwatch. Nice, colorful. Shows you in Chinese some information. Let's get to the English part. Here we go, halfway through. The watch case, the side buttons. There's 2 buttons, a microphone. This is a Bluetooth calling watch, you know. And the speakers on the opposite side, metal screws holding the band together. Remove the smartwatch, wear it, side buttons for turning it on. There's the Wear Pro app QR code. Recommend you use the link in our show notes. It'll take you directly to the Google Play Store. How to charge the watch, set up notifications, what to do if they fail. This is for transferring from your phone to the watch through the app. Your main functions want you to do a firmware update, make sure everything is hunky-dory. I didn't have an update waiting for me when I got this one. Heart rate, sleep monitoring, basic controls are in this one. A couple of things I want to point out. It does support women's health in here. It has a compass in there. Didn't know about that till I stumbled on it. And barometric pressure, that kind of stuff is in here. So definitely an adventurer's watch. Okay, got what looks like 4 buttons, but it's not. We're going to hit the select button at the top, hold it down. That should light it up, says hello, and it boots the watch up into the initial watch face. A lot of stuff you see here. Well-designed face overall. We've got Sport. There's no button. We got GPS. There's no button, and there's no GPS. We've got the select button, which lets us select our apps or come back to the watch face. And we've got a back button, which when you tap it actually takes you into your workout activities, which include all the basics. Font's a little big for me because it's kind of hard to read it, and it's very slow and going around. Puzzle sports. I don't know what that is. Playing tiddlywinks. Maybe chess. Swimming, it definitely supports swimming because it's a waterproof watch. Press it again, brings you back over here. So it is a back of sorts, but it really is an activation of your workout stuff. Let's start at the beginning. Swiping down gets you a panel with some great information. Great information is the QR code. It's known as Smartwatch, guys, when you scan or look for it in Bluetooth to pair it. Normally, you have to kind of look for the last couple of digits of its link is what I've had to do. Sometimes it doesn't pop up saying Smartwatch, but it's there. This is your AliExpress, or Alipay, Alipay. You got to set that all up in China to be able to do it, accept the agreement, set the watch up, password protect it, all of that stuff. But it does support it if you're in China. Overall brightness now, and the last one gets it as bright as it goes. It's good and bright. It's not super bright that it's washing out the screen, but look at that edge-on display. The TFT display is giving us a really nice, full, easy-to-read color, and all the way down is That's your lowest level. So for the review, we'll go at about a half or so. Then you get into this one, which is... hello? This is asking you to scan the QR code in the app and synchronize to the watch to get back into whatever that is. We'll get to it. This is easy. This is your overall settings, and this we may as well go through them quickly right here. It starts out with language. These are the supported languages in this one. Chinese, European, wow, quite a few. Is that Hebrew? A lot of people ask me if it has Hebrew in it. I'm sorry, I don't recognize a lot of the different languages, but this has quite a few different languages. That's awesome. Okay, you got the dial switch. This is where you can change the different dials. They got some great ones. We'll bring up another one in a moment. Here's one. That was dial 3. Let's look at dial 1. There you go. There's dial 1. All right. They are really nice, so I'm going to show them to you directly. Look at the sheen on the hands. It really looks 3D, and you get digital time as well. If nothing, these guys have done a great, great job of giving us really good watch faces. That was our opening one. Here's another really nice one showing you power level. A lot of other stuff in here. Is a straight digital watch face. I can, of course, also press and hold. Give it a moment. But it takes time, and you can't move your finger at all on most of these watches. Here's dial 4. If you like bright splash of color, there's your time highlighted like that. Shows your Bluetooth connection there. We're disconnected at the moment from the phone, but we'll set that up in just a second. And a custom watch face. And I grabbed this one because it's one of the animated faces. Analog watch with animated coloring in the background. We'll take a look at that too as we get into it. And that was all coming from in the settings in the dial switch. Your screen on time is where you can set, it says bedside lamp. Now what that means, if you turn it on and you charge it, it'll show you green time display information, and you can use it as a nightlight, and that'll stay on while it's charging. Turn it off, it's black when it's charging. I really like the fact that you have the option one way or the other, and it's your choice. Some force it on you and you can't turn it off, and others, most of the earlier ones, don't have that feature at all. Screen off. This is not always on. We've seen this implementation in always on watches. It's on for just a few seconds in these TFT watches because they eat the battery a lot when the screen is actually on. So it's called screen off. There's a digital and an analog. I'll show you the analog one right now. We'll set that up. Bedside lamp on. Screen off is what we just did. Oh, okay, sorry, that's the bedside lamp. This is the screen off. And then there's your screen time from as little as 5 seconds to 30. I've got it set for 30 so it won't be turning off a lot during our review. That's there. You got vibration controls, low, medium, and high. You have to feel that. Not a big difference between all of them. Power savings mode will dim the screen and turn off notifications and things. Here's your mode select, smart mode or watch mode. Haven't seen a lot of difference between the two. I presume watch mode is mostly use it as a watch, and smart mode's where it'll pick up if you're starting to run or walk and figure that stuff out. Uses more power. Here is ringtone settings. It'll give you an idea of what the volume and sound is like on here. Let's go into a different one. Try open. Okay, it's wanting us to pair. There you go. You hear that? Okay. Not super loud and kind of high-pitched. Of course, that's what you want on ringtones, is at that special frequency, right? That you'd be able to hear. I've heard louder ones. Another ringtone. Alarm clock. Pretty much the same sounds, it seems like. And that's what you got there. You can set password on here. Make sure you don't lose it, because probably no way to get it back, and you'd need to flash firmware to it to get out of it. And then factory restore. I got some stories about that when we get up to the app. And that's everything we've got in the overall settings. This is now to use your voice assistant, Siri or Google. When you're paired to the watch, you can ask questions and get the answers back from the speaker too. You've got a special SOS when you program a number. If you're having difficulty or something, you do that. As long as you're paired and with your phone, it should place that call for you. This is giving you the chance to change the setup for date and time, but it pulls that information from your phone when you're paired. So suggest you just go ahead and do that. This is a twist your wrist to see the time, that feature. And so when that's connected, oh, there you go. Did you see it when it timed out on the watch? I think this is going to, go into there. You have to literally time out. But there. That's that always on display that's not always on. It's only on for a couple of seconds. But anyway, we got the twist your wrist thing going right now. And this is so you can actually activate the watch by simply touching it. So if I can get this just right. Okay, now it's staying on long. There you go. Now it's off. If I touch the screen, it will light up. So a lot of times I'll run it with the twist your wrist deactivated, and when I look at my watch, even if I'm sitting under the table, I can touch it, and that would activate it so I could take a look at it. So I like that one. Looks kind of like a bullseye. That's your touch to activate. This is mute or have sound. This is an overall flashlight. Gives you a bright screen. Come here, you. Right in the corner. There. Okay. There's the bright flashlight. See how the background kind of dims when there's a bright light for the camera? Camera automatically adjusts to try to keep that looking the same level, right? And so it dims the background. So it's not really representative of how bright it is. It's full brightness on the watch. And if you need a flashlight at night, that's great. You can also just tap it to turn it off. You don't have to completely exit it if you think you're going to use the flashlight again. One more screen. Oh no, we've looped around. We're back to information. So you have 3 different screens of information here. I can swipe this way and get into buttons for Alipay, activating your phone call directly, the power level, and your notifications if you have any. And that you also get to by swiping up. Oh, no, you don't. On this one, you get to all of the things you've had open. There you go. Just like on an Android watch. And you can throw them all away, your recent tasks, if you want to. So that's what you get when you slide up. Now, going this direction, we finally get to the good stuff. Here's your step count, distance traveled, calories burned for the day in the sports section. Here is measuring your heart rate, and it wants you to have it on. So what I'm going to do is put my finger right in the center where all the sensors are, like that, and that is enough to get a measurement. Now, anywhere you got capillaries, it should give you a measurement. Fingers, okay. I tell a lot of people, use this fleshy part of your hand. First of all, it's the same color for all of us, pretty much. There's no hair there. And so you can get a good calibrated reading. Whether it's accurate or not depends on the company, the algorithm, and all of that. So you need to verify it for yourself. But you see, it's measuring and giving us a reading. Now, characteristic of DT1, all of the graphs you see are false. This is not the heart rate of the day between 0 and 24 hours. It's not giving us continuous heart rate and showing it on a graph. Lots of watches do. These do not. But it's showing you a simulated one. Come over here. If I'm connected to the phone, this is where you could activate the phone, put in with the dial pad, make calls, and all of that stuff. Here's last night's sleep time in kind of a funky looking graphic again. It's not representative of truth. It shows you your sleep, total sleep, deep sleep, and light sleep. Why is it 0, Mr. Tex? I wore it last night and the night before, and I had data here. And that has to do with factory reset. I'll tell you about that when we get to the app. Here's a music player, and this is a good way to demo what the speaker sounds like. Okay, here you go. Got some music playing from the phone to the watch and directly to you. This is the speaker. Listen. You can mute it just by putting your thumb over it or your finger. So you have that on your arm. Just grab it like that if you want to quickly mute it. Otherwise, you can carry on a phone call. You've got the speaker or the microphone right here. And, of course, the speaker right here. You can change forward or backward, whatever you'd like to do. That works for the music player. And that's the last thing we've got in our circular listing of items that we can look at. Click here. It's going backward. Okay. Click back, and it'll get you back to the main screen or to the exercise routine stuff. Finally, we're ready. We've looked at everything, I think. We press the select. We come into, hello. There we go. A little bit sluggish. We come into all of the apps. Here we go. We've got the phone. Now I've got it all set up. This is what you see, the dial pad if you want to. The actual phone calls and whatnot are shown right there. You've got messages, again, time zone. This is where you can set different time zones, but you got to be paired with the app for doing that. 2 different types of pairing, the phone call audio stuff and then the app stuff. This is fun. There's a compass built into this one. We have to do the typical rotation to calibrate it the first time you're using it. Get it to snap into it. Come on, you. All right, had to do it again. It's a little bit sluggish to get it started, but it snaps pretty quick. Now, I am sitting in the north, so it's pretty darn accurate. Snaps to the north right down toward where I am, so nice. And, of course, you get the actual number and everything on the screen as well. If you do it upright, well, okay, it's keeping north down toward the earth. That's interesting. All right, so we have a compass built in here. Your contacts and call records, your fitness data, that's your step count information, the overall sports, and that's what we got to by pressing that button, heart rate, ECG. Got to talk about that. We saw heart rate already, but we haven't seen ECG. ECG, guys, is an electrical thing, meaning you should have electrical plates that you have to have contact with your body and then touch another button. It's not the standard optical sensors. However, if you check it out, the ECG on DT1 apps, especially that pair with the Wear Pro phone app, do use the standard optical connection. There is nothing electrical about it. So the ECG measurement is actually a simulated graph that it's going to show, not your true ECG. And what you do get is a heart rate. Now, some sophisticated watches, and you've seen them that I've reviewed that do ECG, they don't show you a real chart either. It's simulated like this. It's actually doing an electrical connection, though, that's giving you your heart rate from the electrical connection. This one, of course, is doing it from the optical. There is no difference I can tell between this one and actually doing it from the heart rate. So beware, this is not a true ECG that you're getting on this one. So let's get back out of here. Blood pressure now, same kind of thing, simulated chart on here. It's actually using the diodes again, as all of them are for blood pressure. You'll get your systolic, diastolic, and we'll take a little look at that in the app. Blood oxygen now uses the red diode. That's a more accurate way of doing it. And again, it's optical, so got to get it in the right position. Simulated chart again, says that it's measuring. It'll give you the percentage. Each of these measurements goes on for a few seconds, 30 seconds to a minute. When it's finally done, it vibrates to let you know it's finished. Blood oxygen usually takes longer. We won't belabor it, but it's definitely doing the reading there. And if you take your finger away, it stops. So it's not going to read measurements in thin air. That was another characteristic we used to see in the older watches. They fixed that. At least it will read something when you have it, you have to be touching it. Last night's sleep time, again, this crazy chart and no information because it's been wiped out due to a factory restore. You got a stopwatch built in on this one. Can't leave it. Press the button. That paused it. That paused it. So these start and stop it, but you can't have it running in the background because you can't leave it without zeroing it out. Here's weather in your area. That when you're all connected up, that'll show you that. Your QR code, that's the QR code for getting your tethering app. I believe, no, this is my QR code. You create those through the app, and then they can show up on the screen so you can share your social media connections and whatnot with others. Then you've got this GPS trajectory thing, which is supposedly the Google map of your workout information, and haven't gotten that to work. Setting your time and date. Voice assistant is right here. We saw that when we pulled it down. You can set up individual alarm clocks on the watch. Sometimes the watch requires you to do it on the app and then sync it over. It's nice you can actually do alarms directly from the watch. The flashlight. Here's the direction for prayer, if that's something you practice, and when you have it set up with the phone, with the app to know your location, it'll give you an arrow, sort of like the compass. When you point it around, it'll show you which direction you need to be in. You've got a basic calculator in here, kind of small digits. When you have all that extra room, I would figure they'd be larger, but it does work. Find your phone. Again, I'm not connected to the app for that. Breath training, inhale, exhale, that process. A massager. When you tap this and turn it on, the phone is vibrating. Here, you feel this? So you can just touch your tight shoulders or neck with that and get some instant vibration. Alipay, we showed you that. You got countdown timers. NFC now, you have to set that up through the app and use it for like unlocking doors and things. No payment though, you can't use it for payment. Here's air pressure. It calculates that directly in your area. And because I'm not connected with this and we're not getting location data, it seems like it has an actual air pressure sensor in here, especially since it's jumping around. So that's pretty cool. You've got compass and air pressure, and you guys that do hiking and whatnot, maybe that's enough, huh? And menu style, we're in textual right now. There you have different styles to show all of the layouts like that. And we can change it to a different style. And of course we can change, wow, interesting. There's the compass right there. We've got that one, and we've got a style 4 as well. It looks like this. But you see why I typically use it in the text mode, because it makes it a lot easier for us to follow and not lose track of where we are, and that's style 1. So that's your menu style, and then settings. We've looked at all of those things already, and that's pretty much it for the watch. So if you like the features you've seen so far, the excellent watch faces, all these capabilities that you can turn on, twist your wrist, or touch, or flashlight, and you're happy with the watch and you don't really need to use it with a phone other than Bluetooth calling and playing music, but don't need the app, you're great. This is the one for you. If, however, you need to pair with the app and get some data and track yourself over time, I got some bad news for you. Yep. The app is Wear Pro, and they're very proud of it. They put it on their box, actually. And this is what it looks like in the Google Play Store. You're looking for that icon right there. Once you have it updated, because good news is they're constantly updating it. Make sure you got the latest version. Hit open, set it all up, create your account. Good. I got this screen. I broke up when I saw that. Do you like it? Give us a 5-star, vomit, or later. I keep saying later because I just love that one. That is so fun. Once you got the app in and you created your account, you get the watch on here. See, it just turned with the check mark, and it's doing its synchronization right now. That's where you set it up, is in device. We'll get over there in a second. You land on this opening page, and it's got your basic information. Now, notice it says no activity whatsoever. I've had quite a bit of activity already today, and it just did a synchronization. In fact, I got 3218 steps, right? Yeah, see it on the lower left-hand corner there? 3218. But for some reason, it's not showing in the main page. Synchronizing a second time, because it is in the deeper pages underneath this. It's going around the circle now, taking a long time to do a deeper, and we still don't have it. So, not sure what, but it's a work in progress. When we go down further, you've got this buttons here. You can get to the dial market, your sporting activity, or exercise classes that you can get to from here as well. Kind of hot buttons, the things people frequently use. Your sports record now, this is where you have the phone be able to initiate a workout. And I wanted to just show you a couple of these. First of all, I did a little test, just like a few seconds, 13 seconds, to see if it worked, and it did. Then I did some extensive work with the device yesterday, and lo and behold, it all got wiped out. I'll give you that story in just a minute. So I did another one for 5 minutes right here. After 3 minutes into it, it looks like it started an automatic tracking of my walking, in addition to the fact that from the phone I had initiated a walking. Now let me show you the 5-minute one. 3, 2, 1. When you get into it, you do have a trajectory, but it's really small and you can't zoom in. You can zoom out, but not any further in. This is really close. It's my house, and I went about 10 times back and forth. It's only showing a segment of it. If you tap that, you get the full Google map over it showing your exact location. An interesting sidebar on this is everything you're seeing here could be done with the app by itself. It doesn't require integration with the watch because it's not picking up heart rate, ECG, blood pressure, blood oxygen, or any of your biometrics. But it does have basically all of your stuff, including step counts for that particular activity here as well. That's in here. Now, about the data from yesterday. It's crazy, but last night I had this on, and let's get you down into the sleep report here. Wore it all last night. Should have had about 8 hours worth of sleep on here. It says I had 1 hour and 6 minutes from a little after midnight, which is true, to about 2 in the morning. But this morning at 10 till 7, the watch, all by itself, rebooted on me. I heard it vibrate. I looked down, it said hello, and it came back up straight up at noon, which is full factory restore. I had not taken time yet because I was eating breakfast and listening to the news and blah, blah, blah. I hadn't synchronized it yet with the app. So all of the data for yesterday's workouts, for today's last night's sleep time, and everything was completely wiped out. Why it got me up till 2:08 in the morning, I don't know. Perhaps it did some sort of a connection because the phone is in the other room and it updated to that point. But really lame, really disappointed, and not the first time it's happened. Which is why I mentioned if you don't really need to track your data, you're going to use this when you go out and just use it as a regular watch with, compass and altimeter and stuff like that. As long as you're not trying to track your data in here, you could probably live with it. But there's a glaring issue about somehow the watch restarting itself. Not necessarily a deficiency of the app, but the two pair together, right? And so something going on there. So this is the sleep time. It shows you your breakdown, rapid eye movement. I don't really, it says maybe that's that part there, 26 minutes. I don't have a good report to show you on sleep time. Weight you put in on your own. Heart rate, this is very interesting. You'll see in the settings I have it set up for continuous heart rate. Ever since it had that glitch, it is no longer doing continuous heart rate, even though 3 times I've tried to set it up from the app to push continuous heart rate. These are individual heart rates that I've taken from that card right here by just hitting the manual monitoring, and it gives me a manual number at these particular times. So something's crazy going on there. We should be getting a continuous heart rate all the way through. The blood pressure and blood oxygen, they do not do continuous, so you only get instantaneous readings, systolic over diastolic. You can see what it was by touching it, and it'll happen right at the time that you do it, and it gives you some averages and whatnots, but you gotta be tenacious about doing it. It's not continuous. That's blood pressure. Blood oxygen. A lot of these watches will do continuous blood oxygen reading. Not this one, apparently, because you're just getting these numbers. Or it's suffering from the same glitch that's only letting me do incremental heart rate and no longer the continuous heart rate either. Something going on there. Could be a defective watch, so I'm not dissing the watch itself as far as the design and function. It's just this particular watch has something buggy going on about it to automatically factory restore it. Ladies, you can set up your menstrual cycle information, length, day, when it started, and it'll give you the whole map of all the information you need to know. And finally, my favorite, guys, you know this, ECG. Pull out the soapbox. I'm getting ready to stand on it. Here we go. Notorious for DTNo.1 and the Wear Pro app is the ECG. So I want to get us to the ECG on the watch. Tap here. Let it go through and do its measurement now, while we have this card open and everything synchronized. Now, remember, there's no electrical contact. I'm not having to touch it. It's creating a simulated chart, and it's giving me heart rate. Now, I'm going to scoot ahead to when it finishes. Okay, just vibrated and finished. Not showing up here. Let's go back. Let's resynchronize everything. You notice there was no way on the ECG page to initiate it. I could initiate all the other things, heart rate and blood pressure, but I could not initiate an ECG reading. I have to actually do it from the watch when we're paired, because I've done it before when I'm not paired and the data doesn't transfer. Here we go. And look at this. I've got an ECG chart all of a sudden. Look very carefully at it. Yeah, we've done this before. Looks like the same thing, doesn't it? Nothing is different from peak to peak. Everything is exactly the same. It is simulated, folks. You got your time, height, which you put in, weight, which you put in, and heart rate. So again, using the optical technology below, just like the regular heart rate, the only thing that you're getting out of this test is the heart rate from an optical source. This is completely bogus, as was the one on the screen, as is the concept of an ECG, because there is no electrical connection whatsoever. off my soapbox. But really, guys, it's really disappointing to see this level of detail coming out, that somebody could actually believe that that's their chart. Yeah, really crazy. You can edit them. You can take them away if you want to, which I highly recommend you do for ECG, and leave the others or reorder them if you want to as well. Some of the other things in here, you've got this health report. Wow, okay, I'm going to come in here. You have manual, and you can generate a report. And here is a report I did earlier. It's kind of summarizing some basic stuff and showing average and whatnot for systolic and normal blood pressure and sleep information, blood oxygen, your body type, all of that. Relatively detailed. And I can actually generate a report, and it lets you know you can only do 5 times a month. I've already generated one this month, so I can say okay to regenerate a new one. And here you go. I've done a little bit more data in the last day or two to add to this. I don't know if it's changed or not. You could compare it with what we just scrolled through on the video. But there you go. You get this report. And yeah, you can, of course, if you put a different weight in, or if your height changes and whatnot, your BMI will change as well. But mostly, it's just tracking your heart rate, measured blood pressure, sleep, oxygen, weight, supposed ECG, which again is exactly the same as heart rate. Look at that. Yeah, very close. And you got this health report. I don't see a way to export this to your doctor or to your file or to email, but you do get that history report in there. We've gone through all of these things. You have courses now that have been added and updated continuously with this app. And this is pretty darn cool. You can create training plans. You can have habit formation in here. So this aspect of the app is great. You might want to try downloading the Wear Pro app without even owning a watch and see if you can get into this stuff. Just set up an account and see if you can get in here if you're disconnected with no watch attached at all, because this might be valuable for you to play with. Yep. Okay, come over to sports. Here again, this is where you can set up and do those sporting activities. I had chosen walking. You hit go. It sets it up with the GPS in the phone itself. You'll see it switch in the watch over to where it's tracking back and forth, but it's not sending over any kind of a heart rate report, which is really unfortunate. That should be in here. Here's the connection, showing a generic picture of the watch. It's not the same one as this one. This doesn't say sport across the top. Maybe it'll update it, because a lot of the other watches that pair with this, they have the exact picture of the watch. Here's the different watch faces that you can get into. They got them broken down into different categories and such. Getting pretty fancy. You got some interesting ones to go with. I was using dynamic. That's where these have actual motion in them. That's the fiery one that we've done. And this is a fun one. I want to install that one for you guys right now. Okay, it downloaded it to the phone, and now it's installing it to the watch. You can see right there. Now pay particular attention to the watch as it gets to its completion point. Goes black, and guess what it's doing? Pretty sure another factory restore, and I might be losing all of the data that I had when we do an install. So just as a precaution, make sure when you get your watch ready for a new watch face, there you go, it's rebooting, you synchronize it first, okay? See, the time was 00. Now it's set to the current time because it paired to the watch, but in the reboot, it was basically at 0. But that's a pretty colorful one. Now here's a real interesting test. If I switch this and come back over here to that first one that we had, all right, good news. It's maintained the step count, and I presume it's maintained the heart rate, but it's updated the time to match the server. So maybe it's a warm reboot. I don't know. Everything didn't go to 0 like it did when I lost all my tracking data and everything else. But that shows you some of the watch faces. Again, there's all kinds of categories too that you can go into to play with this at your leisure. You got remote camera. Here's where you can toggle on and off incoming call or SMS and set other apps to send data to your phone. Here I'm talking about the heart rate monitoring. When it's set from 0 to 0 at whatever interval you want, it is supposed to be giving you a reading every 10 minutes continuously. Or you could set it just at night or just at day, but it's not working after it was the first time I set it up. Something going on there. You got your QR code thing that you can set up for these different services that would be on your watch that you can share with someone else who can read it as a QR code and go there. You got your overall frequent contacts, alarms, Bluetooth calling is where you set that up. Find the watch. When I tap that now, you hear it? Do it again. Come on, do it again. Yeah, makes some sound, vibrates, not terribly loud, should be full volume, but you can hear it. There's a tilt to wake. Of course, you can trigger it from inside the watch. The NFC for a business card or email. That's the two things that you can set this up for, the NFC. Do not disturb, reminders, firmware, and whatnot. And then where you set up your account, you can add your icon if you want to or your picture. Goal settings, unit settings, map settings are all available. User's guide about permission settings and all of that. And that is the basic overall app. No way to set it for night mode. Wish it would do that or would adopt what the phone is using. If you're using night mode on the phone, it would switch to night mode because it really looks sweet and black, I think, with just grayed out for these different card areas. Okay, any questions? Good. We covered everything. Glad you're happy. Buys where? That's where you can pick this up from DT1. And I may have other buying sources for you as well. They're authorizing me to list anybody else that wants to jump on and offer this watch for you at a really good price. We're looking at $34. Again, I hope to have a coupon discount from the Buysware connection for you. So please use the link in the show notes. That helps them know that you watched the review here and helped you decide to pick it up. Thanks for watching, you guys. We'll see you again soon.